So that leads us into the next section of what is a drawing model and what does it do and how, and where do we use it and how can it help us. So the drawing model itself, before we move on, always noted by the grey icon here, and you'll notice typically in the drawing model it has a grey background. So there's your drawing model icon and there's your grey background. So that icon appears in different locations and you can easily identify what the drawing model is. So drawing model is always 2D. Okay, it's the 2D representation of our 3D models. It does not have a sheet boundary. So it is typically like a 2D DGN file. It's just noted differently by different properties, which includes the grey icon there. Its default color is always grey, easy to identify, separate from the other model types that we have, which is designs and sheets. A reference is always attached to the drawing model at one-to-one coincidence. If you cut a plan, for example, that within the drawing model itself is always at one-to-one and is always coincident. Annotations are typically placed in the drawing model, especially the auto annotations. So the auto annotations appear at the first point that the save view is referenced to in the which will be in your drawing model. So we typically try and do all our annotations in the drawing model. Of course, there might be situations where you want to do some annotations in the sheet. There is full support for clipping in the drawing model and also display styles. So within the drawing model itself, you can change the detail scale of a drawing model to increase or decrease the size of our annotations, dimensions, and text. The drawing model's annotation scale is used to increase or decrease that text size within the drawing model, and that can be found in the properties dialog of the drawing model option there in the models dialog box. And I think importantly, it's also a good idea to stick with a couple of rules. One of them being that each drawing model should only contain one attached save view. The drawing model itself acts as a container for annotations, which is specific to that save view, and other attributes which is specific to that save view. Yes, you may have multiple drawings on a sheet, but try for a bit of order and a bit of organization and using those settings to keep one save view per drawing model, and then you can collect them together in the sheet later on. So where does the drawing model fit in our overall workflow? Well, here's an example of what you may do with your models and drawing setups. So you may have your different sub-models, which would be different parts of your design model. They reference together to an assembly 3D model, and from within that assembly 3D model, or your container 3D model, people have different names for it. You can use your callouts to cut your drawings, and those create views which are then referenced to the drawing model, which we can see there has the grey background. And this is where you can add your annotations and do other drafting over the top or within the drawing itself, additional stuff which you may not necessarily model, dimensions, notes, all sorts of things. And then that gets referenced to a sheet. You'll notice here a couple of things. We have the live nesting option, so just be wary of live nesting. Live nesting needs to be included. And it's also not a bad idea to potentially use the sheet model to change the color of your final output. In this case, we want it all black because you can use that one hit reference override color to do that, and we can have a look at that in a bit. So a couple more notes about the drawing model itself. As was discussed, the icon and background are grey in nature. You'll notice there the marker appears in all our drawing models. All our markers appear in our drawing models as well, providing the view is in the forward projection from that and is included in the view itself. And you'll note that The active view here is denoted by the yellow marker, and obviously you get the mini call out from that as well. Any other call outs will be white, as we've discussed. And geometry maps for grating will only appear in the drawing model and subsequent sheets. They will not appear in your save view, so just bear that in mind. If you're missing grating in your view, it will appear in the drawing model. So on that note, let's move on to grading and have a look at how we can create grating in our dynamic views and cache visible edges.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.